this? Is this us now? Yes. It is. Yes. I bring it. And, well, it all started there. There. It all started there. Back on the docks. My mother was a seaman, and my father was a Jew. My granddad came from Ireland, and that's enough from you.
In the summer of 1965, Paul McCartney became a regular visitor to my flat in Hanson Street in the West End of London. He was very interested in the contemporary art scene, and I would play him avant-garde jazz records and electronic music, and lent him books and magazines. In turn, Paul introduced me to R&B and little-known Motown tracks. We discussed the idea of releasing an audio equivalent of the avant-garde magazines, where, instead of a review of a poetry reading, listeners would hear extracts from the reading itself, or maybe clips from concerts, rehearsals, or even items from the third program that people might have missed. It was agreed that what we needed in order to do this was a small studio where writers and musicians could record without the overheads of a commercial facility. We'd heard that Beatles manager Brian Epstein was buying a small office building, and we secured space on the top floor where a recording studio was to be installed. The core team consisted of myself, John Dunbar, Ian Somerville, and Peter Asher. Our first release was to feature a long electronic piece by Paul McCartney, a Mutter poem by Pete Brown, based on the work of Kurt Schwitters, and a story. But when Epstein decided against buying the building, Paul found us temporary accommodation at Ringo Starr's old flat in Montagu Square.
What's happened to the tape recorder?
The carousel of life. I do, Jack. Really is a wizard, do. Really. No, honestly. It's a biffo, do this.
The sounds of a happy party, recorded live at the Apollo basement in Montagu Square.
Can we have some echo on this, please? It's amazing what it does to your voice, isn't it?
Oh, not half. It's really nice. Really nice.
Well, I've only just come down for the
really
exhibition,
nice.
but...
Well, I mean, we don't get
I'm
things,
amazed
you know,
at what I see.
No, quite.
I mean, I didn't know
right.
the modern world.
No, I wouldn't have believed it myself
was
either.
Moving forward
no,
at such a
I wouldn't
pace.
have done. I mean, they seem to be running. Let's go.
Paul paid for Ian Somerville to equip the flat at Montagu Square with a pair of Revox tape recorders, microphones, and so on, and Somerville moved into the building so as always to be on hand to engineer. No records ever got made there, but Paul used the studio to demo songs such as Eleanor Rigby. William Burroughs was a regular visitor.
He may not know anything about how the engines work, or even the principle on which the capsule is operating. Oh, he should. He should. He should, but he usually doesn't. I know. This machine recording. 30 families are homeless in fires. Police said the dead man, Thomas Walton, of 371 West 116th Street, apparently touched off with accumulated grease in the kitchen exhaust ducts, had caught fire, and I wished I knew. Evacuated were allowed to return later. Customers of McGinnis Restaurant at Broadway and 48th Street got their dinner free last night, or at least as much of it as... There were no injuries, damage was trifling, and partial service was resumed about an hour later.
I beg your pardon, sir? Hello?
We're still on the line, you know. Well, we don't know what's going on just yet. Don't panic and keep calm. Well, I'm afraid it's a crinkle in the tape. I'm afraid it's a crinkle in the tape of the high-faced super surfers.
I'll send dead.